Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The idea, basic concepts of strategic management. Number one, environmental scanning. What does that mean? Societal environment, studying that on an external level, enemy behaviors, pattern of historical mode of operation, and social behavior or societal behavior. That's external. Internal, the structure, chain of command, culture, beliefs and expectations, and values. All this stuff right here, the internal stuff, is super important. Our chain of command, but our culture. You got to remember, we have an As-Sabiqun culture. I'm not bragging. I don't think nobody has it the same. I don't think nobody's. I don't see our type of culture prevalent in any movement or any state even. When I say state, example, our brothers are on a roll. I mean, Hezbollah, Islamic Republic, they really on a roll. The number of lives, they just went on a new bombing campaign in Yemen. It's just ridiculous. But they're set up, a lot of them, then bless them with the guy that did 100 days or so in Palestine, just got out of the joint the other day, they're, okay, we'll get back to where we was. Look, chain of command, culture, belief, expectations, and values. We have certain expectations because of what we've been dealing with and what we know of this environment. I mean, our expectations of our environment is getting, it's getting up there. I mean, it's like seeing is believing, calling it as it is, and it's getting very accurate. Okay, whether that's us or whether it's them or the combination of manipulation and management, what we talk about is very real, and nothing is farther than as far as expectations is not a week or a month, not that far away. It's coming up. For instance, when we were expecting something to happen with everybody going to Najaf and Karbala, that was only a couple of years ago. But we waited on that for a few years. But we didn't pass that period. We can't wait, or we wouldn't, or environmental circumstances would not allow us to wait or to expect, something to happen 2 or 3 years off. Because this is a different time. Things are accelerating and decelerating so fast. Everything that we can see, taste, and touch, environment, and all that stuff is bam, bam, bam. Greenland is almost melted, and it'll be really green pretty soon, When the snow is gone, all them beautiful plants and stuff will just sprout out and, stuff like that. Okay, now for us, we have this process that we've been sticking to all along. We just talked about the external, societal, environment, enemies' behavior, patterns of historical mode of operation, societal behavior patterns. All that's external. We're looking at the outside. internal is our structure, our chain of command, culture, beliefs, expectations, and values. When we talk about chain of command, we're talking about what we expected to happen based on their pattern of behavior ever since we've known them. When we talk about East Oakland Enterprises and all the businesses we started and everything and had them rolling and everybody rolling big, the government have things so well organized that I knew I was isolated in my own city with relatives and friends and everybody on board right there. I said, boy, this is deep. Okay. Other people would have taken it as a tragedy. Oh, when I'm having money, everybody like me. When I go broke, don't nobody like me. Well, I hadn't gone broke because I anticipate what was going to happen. And it's just like if we had $10 million, if it was the regular movie scene, the guys would waste all that money and then they'd have to do one more deal. You know what I mean? This is our last one. Move to California, buy a little farm. Him and his girlfriend, they done stuck it together, a zillion robberies. Right, we're really gonna get married. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna raise a family, get a few cattle. Whatever the story is always the same. Now you got to remember, I didn't watch that story, and I have seen that it's semi-accurate on where people wind up. It happens like that because they set the pattern. After you do what you do, you done robbed all the banks, you done did all of this, the system goes into overcharge. Whether it's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, okay, whether it's the Pinkertons, go find them down in, they trace one letter to Australia, not Australia, down to, they got killed in Bolivia, but they traced the letter to Argentina, that's right. Because the police just went to the post office where their relatives are from and looked at all the mail. And here comes a letter from Argentina. So the Pinkertons go down there chasing them, then they run to Bolivia and they do a robbery. And you saw Butch Cassidy and the Sundance. This is semi-accurate because they get blown away. And who would want to go to Bolivia? Two white folks. Go to Europe. Go to Australia. Yeah, go to Australia. Hey, man, we're just a few blocks from America, and we're going down here to raise cattle. Why? Because the colony is a convict colony. Everybody there is either the police or they come from the police or they come from convicts, right? The whole place is like that. Okay, let me continue. So this thing about expectations, everything in the society was pointing toward, if I go by what they said, I can expect that to happen. I'll get broke and then they'll drag me behind their chariot, like they do all Negroes and white. It don't make no difference. So that's why I said, well, you may not believe it, but I got that leaving the country mainly. 75% of it came from when I used to go to jail as a little kid. And I would usually wind up, I'd go in there, I could have got out in 6 months or something. If I were a program, I could have got out just boom. But I used to watch, wind up being there 2 years, as a kid, And I always wound up doing a lot of kid time, But I would watch them white boys, they would run away. And that's supposed to be the baddest thing you can do. They would let them little white boys go a year ahead of me. And all I'm there doing is acting a fool. But I'm challenging the system. Right? And so I looked at that. I said, shoot, boss man done set me up and da-da-da-da. Hell, I'll just run off like the white kids did. I'm telling you, I was facing 20 years. Of course, I was set up. When I left, I came back and got a 5-year sentence. Just like the white kids did. Because that's the way the system works. If you run off, all the system goes into gear. And they got to keep an eye on everybody you know. So they watch their parents' house. They got to check at the school ground because the kid run away. He going to go see his friends at the school. So that's mean the people, right? They got to plug all of those people in. Right? So if they keep you in the hole all the time, all they do is snatch you and stick your butt in the hole. They don't hire nobody else. They don't plug in nothing. You just down there on ice. Right? So I said, boss man, and cut the brother off. East Oakland Enterprises. I mean, he had put a freeze on everything we was doing. I mean, it was serious. I said, how can this happen? And of course, I'm thinking, in my town. This is my place here. And he did it. I said, okay. First of all, he set me up. I said, this boss man got the courts. He got the penitentiary system. He got the Army, the military, the Air Force. He got the whole show. And then he want to cheat too. I said, basically I was just saying, this ain't no fair. I'm leaving. I said, if he got the whole show is his and he cheating, I said, shoot, bump this. Man, that's the best decision I ever made. Get out of the country, see the world. And I didn't leave broke. Not only did I give the Black Panther money, but I helped people while I was traveling. And when I got ready to do what I needed to do, I had still a reservoir. If I had 4 levels of money, I didn't go down to but step level 2. You know, I still had 2 more levels. You know, I mean, that's just, old money. Okay, after you got old money, you just put it away. You don't spend it anymore. So I had several levels of old money. I said, man, I want to get maybe $50,000. Shoot, I had $50,000 in 2 weeks. Because things accelerated that, I had it cash money and so I said, well, it's time to, go for big. This is when we going into East Oakland Enterprises and we have the money. Imagine to have the money, the wealth to hire. They said that I had more employees in the city of Oakland. Black people, because Oakland then wasn't all black, and most of the city. Anyway, so this thing about chain of command, the chain of command had been arranged from the very beginning. My chain of command had been arranged from the very beginning. Yeah, they give you somebody, or they have somebody come by on a regular basis, and so you come by, young blood, you want to drive Cadillacs? Yes, sir. It's all right. So he coming by, he arranged. They know what you're going to like. And then that guy, he brought in most of his crew. You see what I mean? So This guy, our third in command, it was mostly his crew, except outside, family and everything. When I brought a family member in, they snitched on him and sent him to the penitentiary. Yes, they did. I didn't say nothing like I knew what they did. Everybody knew what they did. Because they figure if you bring in a family member, they're gonna put somebody to block, you know. And my best friend, he was good. He was good. Now he got a case. When I used to go down to L.A. to buy all my stuff, I'd stay at his house, and everybody down there, they saw us go from one level to just explode. So he got a case. He got a counterfeiting case, and counterfeit they always offer you a deal. You turn the guys in. So he was in L.A. still. He came up, had a white Cadillac and everything. He came up back to Oakland, where he's from. We were good friends since we teenagers, real good friends. In fact, we was the only ones that did stuff exciting. The other friends was boring. They was dead. They didn't like excitement. We stole cars and rolled through the white neighborhoods, screeching the tires. I mean, we was up in Piedmont. You wasn't even supposed to be there. In the late 50s, you couldn't even be in it, and we driving through there in a stolen car, hot wired. I mean, and then when the car would go kaput, we'd jump out of that. Anyway, we had fun. Me and him. The other people was like, we used to just say, yeah, man, our crew was, we got some boring friends. They didn't like excitement. Me and him liked excitement, you know. But anyway, when he came back up to Oakland, I put him in charge of number two, doing all the stuff. And he was good at that, boy. He was good at that. And, little simple stuff. If we had to bag up a lot of reds, second all, fender benders. So, everybody else used to just count them out. All he did was put 100 in a cup or something and then cut it off what 100 was. Right? It's simple. Now you don't have to count every 100. It's crazy. You just dipped out and said, this boy is on his job. You know, just little simple stuff like that, you know. So I asked him, I said, did you tell boss man you was going to give him somebody? He said, yeah. So I'm sure they was telling him to turn me over, but business got so good, turning that nigga in. I ain't telling no, you know. And I took him down. I bought him a big black brand new Cadillac, Brougham. It was longest from here. You could see them 68 and 69 Cadillacs would reach over there. Them things. You ever seen them things? Good God Almighty! I bought everybody Cadillac. Not everybody, but people, you know. So anyway, and he never did give me up because he had to do some time for the feds. And when I was in the feds, when he was in the feds, he was at Lompoc. That's when it was just a normal little incident. He said, man, Gary, that's the white boy, he trying to climb the fence to tell me something. Well, his father-in-law was an agent. And his girlfriend, Mary, was telling him, yeah, Dad just came by and he had Big Hank with him and they going down to Mexico and on and his eyes as big as, because he knows his father is, whatever it is the police. And so Doc is at the camp my friend. And Gary, one of my white boy connections and friends, he's inside the wall. So Doc telling me when I come to visit him, man, Gary's in there trying to climb the walls, trying to climb the thing to tell me something. By the time he got the word, that's why I said the white man got all of this and then he cheat too. I said, man, bump this. It was the best decision. But that comes from studying your environment. I studied the environment. Okay. Just like it might seem like we're lucky, but there's a lot of things that I do. I do them because I done learned a little bit about boss man, you know. And why boss man don't kill a nigga? Why boss man? Because every time we get right at a certain point, you could hear it in the lectures. Oh, boss man. Oh, you know what I mean? I mean, I do it all the time. Not all the time, but whenever I get the feeling, oh, boss man, you wouldn't hurt nobody. You ain't got no reason to be mad. You just ought to fix yourself up. Actually, whether it's working or not, it is working. I mean, I could taste it working, and y'all could probably see it working, but maybe you don't understand why it's working. That's just the way, that's from studying your environment. A Negro, they wouldn't let a Negro live 20 minutes doing what we're doing. All of our friends around the world are winning. They catching hell, but they winning. And we're on the front page of their newspapers and everybody, right? And we got our finger on all of them, like the Iranian brother that just he came back over here. He'd been back a couple of months. Why don't you come down? Why don't you? Okay. So what you been doing? Oh, I got a little program. He's a professional speaker. He is. He's born in America. He's 37 years old. And he's got his master's degree, so he's on that circuit there. He used me as a sounding board, and he got America down. But he got a lot of American, because he was talking, they talking about our people now. You think they this and that? I said, don't you remember? I used to come back and I would tell you this is that guy, that. So he thinks that I've been not sold a bill of goods, but he thinks because I talk optimistic, he feels that he's been back there and he's seen stuff that means that this is not what it said it was and it's not going to work. I said, it's been like that from day one. I said, it's always from day one, it's been like that. It's been munafiks. It's been these people, it's been people stealing money. I said, there's certain things that y'all got. I was telling them this other day, I said, you don't see them? I said, I see them. That's why I'm always right. I wasn't being arrogant, but I said, that's why I'm always right. And you ain't never right. And yeah, I know you've been back home strolling around. What about the brother? You ain't told nobody. All the guys, Fauda, Jami, and them, I don't know if you ever, he's big, wears glasses. He's the only one at one time, he said, it's easy for us to talk here, but Imam Musa is in America. He went back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But he's one of the commentators. You see him regular on press TV all the time. Faoud Ajami. Anyway, kind of a big guy. Of course, he got a beard, glasses, and speaks very good English. Okay. So the thing is, when you're studying the environment, scanning the environment, if you don't tell people something to their face, they think you done missed it. Oh boy, I'm telling you, Abdul Malik, them, Sister Bahia and them, all of them. Now even my poor kids, if you don't tell them that, hey, I caught that, they think you missed it. I said, if I did that, I'd be talking all day. You did this, you did that. I said, hey, man, I don't, hey, anyway, scanning culture, beliefs, expectations, what you expect from the society. One thing you have to admit, we've expected everything that has happened in America since we've been around. We just expected it to happen. Okay. So we've been prepared. Values, this is one of our key things is akhlaq, ethics. We're not taking a chance with shading things too much. It don't mean that we're like Sunday go to meeting and just so up to there, and you know what I mean. But we're not gonna do certain things. Like, remember the guy who was gonna get the tree cut down, and our brother was saying, well, you don't have to cut that tree down. You don't have to trim that tree. Because in D.C. the law said, I said, something, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? I was clear. Yeah, I don't have to do it, but I'm just not going to do it like that. So those are kind of like natural ethics. You can't be playing because they snapping too, you know what I mean? You're just reacting like that. So that's not me playing to react like that. Okay. Let me speed up. Beliefs, expectations, successes and failures of previous Islamic movements. Successes, failures of certain movements, of the Islamic movements. This is written at the time when we're telling the brothers, okay, boss man is y'all and fell in love with Obama and you go and ask him permission. It's like Ikhwan. Oh, we just won't hurt nobody. Oh, we love everybody. Can we get a pass? Why, sure you can. Hell, go ahead. And they believed it all, everybody over there. You notice at a certain time, all those demonstrations on Palestine and everything, they froze. That was during the Obama period. They just said, oh, shoot, I tell you, don't you worry about me. My name is Barack Hussein Obama. This ain't no accident. And he's playing off of that. And when wherever they invite him over there, when he's giving a lecture in Cairo, they announce him, this is Barack, blessed, Hussein, Imam Hussein, Obama, African. So he's the original article. He's got all these names. He's educated in Indonesia and Muslim schools, and so he's something or other. He knows what to say. And the dummies are listening to him. They are sold. Not only the Arabs, but the Negroes should know better. Even now they know they had it worse during his time, but he wanted to do good. Whatever they just, anyway, that's all right. It's okay. I mean, that's what it is. History, successes and failures of previous Islamic movements. Man, when we wrote this, they had already cut our throat. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, non-territorial government, Majlis Ashura Islamiyya Free Britannica. Is it getting cold in here? Wellington. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Maybe turn it off for a minute and then turn it on. Yeah, because did you feel the chill? It start, yeah, some. No, it'll just cut off. It won't keep on rolling with the freeze except certain times. And when it freezes, we just click it off and then click it back on with a little heat. We make do of it because senior citizens get cold quicker than everybody else. Okay. Resources, assets, skills, competence, and knowledge. Resources, for right now, we'll just go back almost right away, start dropping in on Dal Hijra and a few more spaces since they go on, at Salatul Jummah. We won't record them for a while. We'll be doing mainly just religious at Jummah. We're going to even shorten them boys down. They're going to be shocked. We shorten them a little bit. And, yeah. And we'll go out more. And, okay, here's where we are. Part of the planning is economic planning. Okay, so far as they're concerned, we would be scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. And remember, we don't have no income from nowhere around. Just, right? So, zoop. What we're going to do, we're depending on ourselves for everything. We plan to hustle Boss Man for what he owes us, $300 million. Sure. He's done that much damage. He's done that much damage. Just suppose they would have just not been bothering us. That means for each year we would have opened one masjid. Okay. If all those masajid in the last 40 years were like this, and with people not being harassed, they would be full of Negroes because of the message, because of the structure, because of the organization. Those are the things that probably would have happened. Okay. All right. So when they affect that means they owe us for all, like in Germany, when they go running around with the military equipment. If you run over a tree, the Germans charge the Americans. Is that cold air again? Well, it feel like it. Say I got barefooted. That's why I feel. Just stand under that thing over there a minute. Anyway, they charge them for every tree that they run over and all the trees that tree would have had. Is it all right? I think it's all right. Good. So they charge the poor guys, the Americans, because Americans are big and sloppy, and the Germans, when you drive down the Autobahn at whatever speed you want, all you see is rows of trees. The Germans, you could see where the Germans used to have colonies in East Africa too. The trees are planted all in a row. So when you're going down the thing, the trees are almost goose stepping. Over here they plant them so it'll be more natural. Over there, when you look to your right or your left, all you see is rows of trees. In what used to be German East Africa, parts of Tanzania, Tanganyika, they got forests right now planted by the Germans. Well, 50. Shoot, they wasn't that old then. If they was planted in 1915 or something, 1914 and all that. And I was over there in 1970. They was just 70, 71 and all that area. They was just the right size that they were planted. And first I saw them in East Africa, and I said, oh, they planted all in a row. And then when I went to Germany, I said, oh, they planted those trees over there. Because all in Germany, East Africa, that's why they planted them all in a row, just like goose-stepping Germans. Not to change the subject, but that's also, you realize how certain peoples are. See, over here, they got people, we want freedom, we want democracy. There, they want a strong leader. There's certain people are like that. Chinese, most of the people over there, they want tranquility, but they want strong leadership. You know, they feel comfortable like that. In regimentation, they're like that. They want the Germans, you go over there telling them, you want the freedom, and I said, yeah, regimentation. Freedom for me is I can count on what's going to happen tomorrow. And we're regimented, we're goose-stepping tomorrow at 1 o'clock, right? So at 12:59, everybody got their legs sticked out, ready to go, right? And all they're ready to blow the whistle, like, that's the way they are. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about travel. You find out certain characteristics of certain people. That's why these idiots have tried to make everybody like them. It ain't working. Don't nobody care nothing about nothing that they talking about, especially now. Anyway, let me speed up. Strategy formulation. That means the mission. I'm going to speed up on this part because I'm basically reading for this, and then I'll go into a little commentary. Mission, the reason for existing, the reason for As-Sabiqun movement. Goals and objectives. What results to accomplish, by when, referred to As-Sabiqun goals and yearly to-do lists. Strategies planned to achieve the mission and objectives, current major pursuits, of course, filmmaking and news production, property acquisition, and consulting, stuff like that. Policies. Broad guidelines for decision making refer to several newsletters on leadership, management, and principles of movement. We did those. Okay. The next part, first we have environmental scanning. Second, we have strategy formulation, which we just went to. Now, strategy implementation. Remember, after you done talked about all this stuff and environmentally scanned everything and come with a big plan, now the part that hardly don't nobody do. Strategy implementation. You implement, you actually do what you just discussed. Programs and activities need to accomplish a plan, major focus on improving fundraising, self-sufficiency efforts. We did all right with all that. Budgets. One of the big rich guys overseas, they're big managers. So once, I think I was with one of their sidekicks out in California. They all belong to a certain tribe, which I won't mention. But I think it's a sellout tribe that always, anyway, it's a long story. Yeah, even during apartheid times, yeah. Or they're good at looking way ahead and forecasting how this is going to turn out here. And they help a lot of black people. They did a lot of good stuff. But they were definitely prepared for what was happening. Then they got with the ANC and stuck with them, and I told them it's a bad decision. And they was mad. No, the ANC. I said, okay. I said, by then they already winter time coming, and the members are not. First of all, they're Africans, like us. So basically, they're African niggas. It's just, and they have when they broke down our management systems of tribalism. The king lived right there with everything. He might have more cows than everybody, but you could go to his house. It wasn't no like, he had a big army there protecting him. And the king was, you're the king. You got us covered, and we got you covered, and you got us covered. And they did that. Colonialism changed it to these bums they got now. They're mercenaries, murderers, and they don't have no love for other tribes. Some of the old writings refer to other tribes as races. Other races. Like good books. When they talk about other tribes, they refer to them like they use the word races. They're other races. Yeah. They're not us. And in Africa, that was big. Tribalism. The thing is kind of still like that. If your tribe is in, you're all right. If you was with Idi Amin's tribe, you don't have a thing to worry about. If you're not, whew, good God Almighty. And that's everywhere. It's still like that because for thousands of years, that was the safety valve. That was it, the tribe. But anyway, so if you listen to some of the tapes, I said that no, they're not going to build so many houses. That was in. In fact, I did tell them that, and those lectures that I did, a few of them, I said they're going to build 5 million homes. You're not going to do that. And some people understood it, but it took them a couple of years for that to settle in. They're not going to do it. It's because they're colored. And they're going to buy yellow and red Benzes and orange patent leather shoes. They're not going to go that far, but they might as well. That's what they're going to look like in you. And they're not going to manage anything correctly. Within a couple of years, the Indian brothers that helped them with lawyers and money get out of that slavery, they didn't say it till years later, but they was wishing they was back in apartheid. Yeah, because the Negroes was out of hand, and the Negroes forgot what they did for them or with them. You know what I mean? It was terrible, and they was robbing them. It was unbelievable. I don't say was. I might as well say is. Okay. Anyway, the point was that those are the behavior patterns of Africa. Africa is like that then, and it's still like that. You know what I mean? Like South Africa is in Africa, but it's better than the rest of Africa. I mean, it's like when you leave here and go there, you don't have any. There's only difference is you drive on the other side of the street. Other than that, like where we're staying, it's modern, up to date. It's everything like that. It's just in the shanty towns, which is most of Okay. So we told them, based on environmental scanning, that the Africans are going to do this. We told them in that lecture in 96, this is only 2 years after. They're still juiced up. I said, oh no, they're not going to build you the houses. They're not going to do that. They're just not. I don't know. Did you ever hear that part? Yeah, I just tell them, no, that ain't going to work. You're not going to do that. Ain't no sense. They're not going to do it. Now, our contacts was when in love with ANC. Now, you got to remember, in Indian families, you had some that was for ANC. You had a lot of them some of them was for PAC. One settler, one bullet. Yeah, they they had the idea, but of course, it wouldn't have been. It would have been fair to do that, but it wouldn't be nice to do it. Just because they deserve it, you couldn't go around and kill them all. You do like now. They eased in the land away from the white folks. Anyway, they thought they was going to keep it. But Mandela and them and other guys was all, they doing a few of the things, but see, the Negro, when he get the land, he could farm it for the white man, but farm it for itself. Poor guy. Anyway, long story. Strategy implementation, the activities needed to accomplish the plan, the cost of programs, procedures, sequences of steps needed to do the job, micromanagement, leadership, Now, this is where we are now, evaluation and control. So that's why the next meetings, their evaluation of what we've been dealing with, So that part of it is kind of, like this. Does anybody know what day it is today? A day that live in infamy? Yeah, that's one of the biggest speeches in the world. A day that will live in infamy. The United States was attacked by the air and naval forces by the Empire of Japan. Yep. And finally at the end he says, we will win the inevitable victory, so help us God. He didn't really mean it, but that's what he said. Yeah. And so they did. So they had a great opportunity. 1945, they was a colonial power. The Philippine colonies, nobody remember those. I do remember it because the books still, when I was younger, they referred to the Philippines as the Philippine colonies, although they were liberated in 1946. And the Philippines did all that guerrilla warfare, but they never paid them until up in the 90s or something. Everybody's dead. They paid a few people, for all that war effort. Yeah. See, a lot of people didn't surrender at Corregidor and all that stuff. Some went out into the jungle, and it was all the Philippines. And the Philippines was stolen from the Spanish, and Philippines was well known during the war, early parts, with America wrapping themselves so tight with bandages, even the non-believers know about it. I was at one bank and the lady, she said, did you know that the Muslims wrapped themselves? I said, yeah. So when they got shot, the 45 automatic, 1911, that's where it came from. They brought it out for the Filipinos. They would wrap themselves so tight, bandage-like, that the blood wouldn't flow, and you know what I mean, everything would stay in place for so long, they would have chance to kill the people who shot them. So that old 45, that old six-shooter, we got rid of it and brought in the 45 automatic, the 1911 one. Okay. There's a few things that just a few little reminders. Does anybody remember this right here? This might be 20-something years, 19 years ago. How to Think, Act, and Believe. Yeah, after 9/11. Okay. Anybody that has this, as you read through it, if you don't have it, I'll copy some and pass them out later. But this was guidance for the people we refer to as of September 11th, 2001. Let it be known that a state of open warfare exists between the united forces of Kufr on one side, led by the bandit election-stealing President of the United States, who follows in the footsteps of his father, also ex-president and ex-CIA chief George Bush, and a sincere, truth-loving Muslims. That's us. That's who's the war. You know, Osama bin Laden and all those. The USA has elevated too long, low intensity. Good article. Let's say this article is 19 or 20 years, aligning to the believers at that time, how to think and believe after 9/11. Did anybody read this one? Yeah. It made sense. Then there's other stuff, you know. So we've been busy. A lot of people that haven't been here a long time would not understand how active this masjid was. Demonstration, school open every day, da 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 da. The Eid's the best in the city, probably. Well, it's not probably. It seems like that to me. I don't know. Hey, man, good old home-cooked food like that, shh. The people, I know their wives wasn't cooking. Even if they could, they wasn't cooking. That food was good. We, you know. Hey, no, there was a special environment. Okay, you got to remember now. At that time, we're manipulating the environment. We know what we're into. We know when they get the word, they're gonna all go, because that's the third or fourth quarter that's been happening all along. You know, that's the process. So we just let's say we're playing it for how it works, you know. That's why they did so much stupid stuff in Oakland. They feel like that we tricked them and we bought all that other property, and they did all the property here, we bought it. Some of the property there, they helped buy it with our help from here. So that's why they behave like they do. And they thought Abdul Malik had made a mistake by just writing a letter of resignation and then leaving. And Mukhtar actually said it. You know, he called him, he's a punk, you know what I mean? That's what Mukhtar was saying, although he's his leader. But anyway, so that's why he come on like he's hard and all that stuff. He ain't hard, that boy is crazy. You know, I might have saw something, it might have been something last night, a a phone call or two, first time in over a month, 2-3 months. I think it might have been. It didn't say them, but it might be. It don't make no difference. All I can say is we're going to follow this. So this is what we're going over: environmental scanning, scan what we're doing right here, what we've been doing. Scan it, mental notates. And then our new strategy will evolve out of what it is for today. So instead of jumping from where we was to right where we was headed the other day, hold it, let's go back and go through our regular procedure. Okay, so environmental scanning, that's what we're doing now. What have we seen? What have we observed? What have we learned? Then the strategy, which this will be done by the end of the month or just into the end of the first of the year. Something like that. It's not a long process. We'll be doing this on. Okay. And then when we wind up with evaluation and control, at the end of this research period, we're going back to our plan, what we have for this period. Technically, we have most of it gelled already, but we have to do it by procedure. If the procedure doesn't work, stick with it. It might be some blessings in it that we might have missed. Okay. Okay, and therefore, we talked about all of our okay. Shadow team, global specialist. I'll mention that later. I think it's a little too complicated right now. Shadow team. But basically, somebody's on our side. I mean, physically and materialists on our side. Allah got us covered, so we just home free. But there's also, and boss man, he's got a habit. Oh, I just finished running over there. Oh, well, strolling up there. And somebody gonna park till I leave. Somebody's gonna go through the woods. I said, okay, if I picked this stuff up 50 years ago, what the hell they think I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna, they're not, I'm gonna have somebody watching them. And they're not gonna know how I'm doing it. They're not gonna know how I'm doing it. They're just not gonna know because they're slow. They can't prevent, just imagine they think, well, if we stand behind the mailbox and peek and let him know we always there, he'll be too scared to do anything. He'll be paranoid. That's not true. That's not true. All we got to do is study his patterns, study. And boss man got blind spots. I think I mentioned those years ago. Blind spots? Who don't have them? In psychological, they call it scotomas. A scotoma. You know the psychological picture they have you look at, and if you have one vision, you see the old lady, and the other one, if you see the young lady. They used to do that when I was, okay. It's a psychological, when they take psychological, when they do them dots and stuff, then they ask you, what do you see? Okay. The white man is tricky. So they start showing me those pictures before I knew what they was doing. So by the time I got grown, I said, they got the niggas pattern, from way back. I remember when I went to the federal penitentiary, they had a test would have 500 questions on it. You go to the federal penitentiary, everybody takes a test. So I just handed it in. But then the counselor called me and he said, either you're crazy or you wasn't paying no attention to the test. I told him, I said, you think I'm going to write down anything for you to do? What's your favorite sport? None of your business. I'm at Leavenworth, and the guy in the shoe shop, they make shoes at Leavenworth. This guy hid himself in a big shoe box, and the train comes into the penitentiary. Then they load it up. And, they park it in the penitentiary. Because one time there's a big spot in the wall that they made a new wall where they tried to run the train through the wall. Yeah, it evidently went through the wall because there's a big patch in the old time wall in Leavenworth. Anyway, so who do you love the most? Oh, my girlfriend. Where the hell does she live? Well, she lives over here on Sunnyside. Drip, drip, drip. Da, 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 da. What's your favorite sport? Baseball. And I sit back and watch, and a guy run off from the federal pen, and they go to the baseball game and sit there. Right? They had the feds watch the major, right? And he come. Why? Because he wrote baseball. I love it. I just love baseball. And even if I'm on the run and I cool down for an hour or two, I'm going to a baseball game. And they right there waiting on it. And he wrote it down there for him. I told the white folks. And so that's why, no, they had me down when I was a youngster and didn't know no better. I first went to jail at 8 years old, and they showed me them little pictures. Yeah, I was 8 years old. Go to the juvenile hall, sure, 8 or 9, sure, yeah, definitely. I got sent up when I was 12. I had to be 8 or 10, something like that. But I got sent to the penitentiary, the kiddie penitentiary, when I was 12. I got sent up and everything. Again at 14. I'm lucky. I did all my time when I was younger. When I was an adult, I haven't done that much time. It's a lot of time. It ain't a lot of time. You do a 4 or 5 year sentence, but the feds be giving out life. You got to do, it's unbelievable. If they give you a 50-year sentence, you do 47 years of that with good time. That ain't no good. 47 years, what are you going to do? That's what they've been doing for the last 30 years or more. It's kind of sad, but anyway, let me speed up here and just review how to think and believe. Soak turkeys. Well, I'll soak the turkey tomorrow. How's the turkey? Good. Then I'll soak. You soak them. You soak them, and then. Alhamdulillah. Good. So that's what it's 2 or 3 down there, so I'm going to cook at least 2 more. I hope I'm not wearing everybody out. Just go ahead, Bafarma, as they say. Okay. We are in a special place. No one has been here before. On the level, this level of accuracy, longevity, vision, and I just put accuracy again. There's no movement you could read about in America and probably nowhere else that's had to go deal with. We had to manage a whole lot of environmental things in order to get here. We had to have overwhelming patience, and we had to have an attitude. We had to avoid frustration. So if you know boss man going to look at everything you're going to do, going to fill up your crew, you say, well, I quit. So you got to avoid that, right? Instead of becoming mean, you got to do something else. What? Become happier. Make fun of boss man. Laugh at it. Appreciate what's happening. Oh, boss man, that ain't nothing. And, so you have to, we're going to try to share this with other people. We are going to share it with them, but I don't know how it's going to digest because we got to figure out a way to upgrade the people, to make them, not make them, but to help them understand that they're living in a special period in history. That heat kicked in. Yeah. Thank the Lord. Yeah. No, it does that every now and then. So anyway, review flyers, articles. This is a time to be heroic. We always write this. Hey, look. I don't know what it seemed like to everybody else, but this is like, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's fun. We're making it fun. Number one, the stuff they do to everybody else is heartbreaking. In Yemen, they're just slaughtering them. They're slaughtering the people. That's not happening to us. But the war they have against us, if we didn't have the right attitude, would be in a way worse because psychological warfare. So the reason that this is so nice is because we flipped the script. Yeah, you can't do nothing, boss man. And we make fun of him. Yeah, we do. Well, y'all done heard it all. We just make fun of boss man. Discombobulate him, whatever we want to. We just, boss man on the line. And that's the way he feels, too, that he's on the line. Remember, whatever the level of manipulation and control is, we have surpassed him. We control him more than he controls us. That's rare. I don't remember it happening in history where any movement had more effect on the government than the government has effect on them. That's big. That's big. It's not because of numbers. It's because of attitude, actions, and other things. Okay, so I mentioned Fauda Jami. Javad Zarif is another one of them. Marzia is another one of them. Almost everybody that had contact with us, what's the guy, the head man in the TV over there? Yeah, he calls here a couple of times and cut off. Okay. No. But all of them is slips like they all came through us here. And we recognized who they was, and we used whatever we could. We knew Marzia is who she was the day she came. I mean, really, just, hey, police lady, how you doing? Yeah, good God Almighty. Oh, your husband just got killed? And you've been in Iran all this time, and you're the chief of the radio thing and TV? And the word is he discovered you was a police, and then he wind up dead in 30 seconds. That's a big deal there. Glad it didn't happen to me that way. Right? That's you just looking at that. Oh, yeah, that's what's happening. But anyway, the guy up in Wisconsin, a professor, brother down in Texas. The only one that I don't know come on thing a lot, Muhammad Marandi. I see him a lot. He's not doing a bad job.
I do know, because I like him, but I do remember he wasn't an identified supporter.
Of course not. Okay.
He said it out of his mouth.
Okay. No. See. Ahmadinejad is surrounded too by. The last time I went to talk with him, Marzia was there. No. When he get ready to leave, he says, "And what can we do for you?" You know, in other words, what do you? I know you need something, and because they have a big complex. You know. I said, "No, nothing." That was a shock in the first place, because everybody, all the big sheikhs, once they get to working with Iran, they need Iranian support then. Because all of my friends, all the Sunni ulama from around the world, when they got to supporting Iran, all of a sudden now they're cut off from, anyway. All right. I'll just mention a few things. Boss man done had it bad. Vietnam, war on poverty. One white man said, I heard y'all done declared war on poverty. He said, show me where I can surrender at. The white man said that. Revolution, Gulf War, 1980, 1988. Invasion of Iraq, 1991, called Desert Storm. He asked April Gillespie, the people, the white woman, is it all right if we invade them people? Sure, we have nothing to do with inter-Arab conflict. That's what she said. Boy, that's a lying white lady. Good God Almighty, she get the Academy Award for lying in that year. 1982, 83, 40,000 dead in a little country like Lebanon. From all that bombing and stuff. That's okay. Now the dumb Americans. The biggest embassy and American embassy in the world used to be in Cairo. Then the biggest embassy in the world was in Iraq. And now the biggest embassy in the world would be in Lebanon. They're building it now. Don't worry. Do not worry. They're not smart. They thinking we had this success with Cairo. We went in there. Now we got all the tattletales, and we got all of this, in Iraq. They still have all that trouble. The big American embassy, they hire people. They get okay, but they're not thinking. Number one, this helps Hezbollah develop a counter, so they're going to know everybody. They're going to watch them 30 hours a day. They're going to do all kind of stuff. Who eats lunch here? Who da, right? And they're going to, first of all, they're going to send as many of their people to work for them as possible. automatically. They won't get all the Hezbollahis, they will not get but 3 or 4, but remember they're allies. They got allies from the Christians. See, because in Lebanon, you don't have race or anything on your, because all the same. You have religion on your ID, right? The U.S. is building that big, they think we're going to undermine that whole little, just a little country. We're going to, that's why when things get ready to go for you, they go because you don't perceive things. You know what I mean? You can't see stuff that's too simple. Okay, strategic recovery. It's a great period, exciting, challenging, historical. You only live twice. You only live twice. This world and the next one. So, but just imagine what you do here determines forever. That's a long time. It's not easy to think about forever backwards, right? Always have been. That's a lot. Not the earth. The earth just been here obeying 500, so many years, 4.5 billion years. And it'll be here another, what they say. Well, it'll have to, something has to happen because the sun can burn up that energy for so long. It's sending out all those rays, all that energy. So the sun is going to burn out. It'll take a long time, but when it starts burning out, after a few trillion years, it's going to be a solid block of ice revolving around this thing here. It's going to freeze to death. I mean, something like that. I mean, it has to, not today, not next week, but off in the big future. So you live twice. The first one will determine eternity. Somebody say, do you really believe that stuff you be talking? I said, I am not taking any chances. Not me. No siree. I ain't taking no chances. I wouldn't rob a bank with a red hat on and a green something or other. Because that's too much, that's too big of a chance. I don't want to do that. You know, I used to wonder, in the pen, you got all kind of people, and they have certain characters. Bank robbers, which is federal banks, they go to federal prison. And not that I used to study different types of people, but it's the type of people that they got certain characteristics. And I could do other things, but I just couldn't walk into a bank with a gun or a note or anything and ask them. I could go get some of my own money somewhere, but I just couldn't do that. I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even consider going in the bank. I mean, in the old days when you could get away with it, I just wouldn't do it. I don't know. Certain people, nobody would do what I'm doing. They wouldn't do it. Man, even when they hear, see, everybody got the idea. The last time I got out of prison, I was going around to my friends. I said, y'all want to ride with me on this? No, man. They know what it calls for. And now you're serious about this? And one of my best friends, he said, man, he that beat a big cocaine. He ain't beat the case. He got the Holy Ghost. I turned on the radio there. He was. And then, I mean, he beaten that Bible to death. And he didn't even go to the penitentiary, I think, He come by the Masjid and he said, he was telling his friend, man, Hank, got religion because he's trying to get the heat. So when one of the people, I said, if you accept Islam, you ain't getting no heat off of you. You driving into the furnace, you're sticking your head into the hottest furnace that they got. If you say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Anyway, let's kind of wrap up. But that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to get in our outline pattern. So when we move from stage to stage, we'll be kind of clear. So when we come next time, let's think about these 4 stages. I think everybody should have this printout. Environmental scanning, strategy formulation, strategy implementation, and evaluation and control. That means we don't have to talk about just one of them, but we'll move from there. Then this evaluation, how have we done? I think we've done a wonderful job. We really, for what we have, it's just not, I'm telling you, I'm looking at everybody else in the world, and I'm looking at us. With what we have, it's wonderful. We did a good job. If it was all over tomorrow, we've recorded enough, even if it's the old stuff. Now, Allah bless us to get through this new phase with all this new stuff that will be further extended than this old stuff. People haven't even got up with this stuff. They're not even up with this stuff yet, most of it. They're not even there. But they're going back. But we're not, remember, As-Sabiqun, they go out and they win the race. They go out ahead of everybody else. As-Sabiqun, it mentions nothing about you got to stop and you got to make them understand. No, you go out, you ringing all the bells, giving all the warnings, pointing at everything. And then when you done that job, you done gone somewhere else. But it's always ahead. Right? If everybody else is going backwards, that's their problem. It's comfortable back there. People are comfortable, they go back to Malcolm. If you leave them alone long enough, they'll go back to Martin. They go back to not only King, they go back to, what was them people way back in the old days? They'll be back with Booker T. Hey, man, they'll be back with Booker T. And who else was that? The talented tent now? The boys. Yeah. And they didn't like old Marcus Garvey. He was a big old black buffoon. They called him a buffoon. I said, the nigga got all them people and got all them polices on the ship putting all this, oh man, he did all right. He missed a few points. When he went back to Jamaica, then he went back to England. And he died in 1940. He read an article in the newspaper that said Marcus Garvey died. And he upped and died. See, no. That was where they was up on a lot of stuff. So we got to carry people. Hey, there ain't nobody, they're too afraid to try the boss man. They won't even try boss man. They're not adventurous. Drama, adventure, challenge. Hey, I don't need no adventure. I need a rest. Tell the truth. I want comfort. I want my retirement. This nigga 22 years old talking about, what is your retirement plan? Right? What is people going to think? Your retirement plan? Dog, brother, and what do the dumb police say? I don't want to lose my pension. Yes.
Because you mentioned those personalities. But even then, you did have different personalities that were contemporaries that were at least seen, whether they were debating each other or, bouncing different perspectives on where they wanted black people to go.
Right.
It doesn't even seem like we have that, to where, it's just a thought where we have our perspective and our direction, but who is it that we can bounce,
No, we don't need to. If they're not there, evidently, see, As-Sabiqun, they go out and get the job done. Like, for instance, for that period, these As-Sabiquns, we did our job. That's pretty reasonable. You know what I mean? It's not too bad. I mean, okay, but that's what we were supposed to do. We were not charged, neither, if prophets and messengers ain't charged with it, we ain't charged with it. That we got to make everybody, do this and do that. Okay. So we have to evaluate the scanning environment. We do it all the time. And we have a reasonable feeling about what our contribution has been. And also, how you going to be around that long? Really, so longevity, as King said, has its place. Longevity. For us to be here, a lot of the things come, you don't get everything the first go around, or even the second or the third. You might look up and it's the 100th time you thought about it. And good visions, Good, it just, bam, you laying there and stuff been going around for the last 30 years and you wake up and there it is. Okay. We don't have to, we would run ourselves crazy trying to chase everybody down. And some people have Bayer to somebody else, maybe in Philadelphia, and they not telling you, but every time you see them, they got a chief from Philadelphia. And you saying, well, maybe you go look in the mirror, like when I used to be dealing a lot. At first, I used to get mad at them Negroes. And then I say, what the heck? At that time, I didn't go to movies much or stuff like that. So I turned the Negroes into my entertainment. The Negroes come, yeah, I said, that is great. Here you go. I won't pay. You don't have to pay me back. That is great. They didn't know what I was doing. I said, nigga, that performance that you just gave, your glass fixing your pants. I said, that's star performance. But other people would get mad at them and they would kill them. People were setting niggas on fire. I said, man, I said, what? Nigga will be $50. I said, you burn up somebody for $50. You set him on fire. He wasn't respecting me. I said, the white man blow your head off, shot off 2 of your fingers, and you ain't burn him up. I said, that's what I thought. Yes, indeed, that's what I thought. But anyway, if you can remember, we used to talk about have fun. Any coach, after they done trained as hard as they can, he's okay now. Hey, just have fun. If you're having fun, the kids playing on them side of And if the winter had that 4 or 5 feet of snow, their hands is blue and they having fun. Me and you ain't going out there. That's why, because it's not fun. First of all, we don't want to slide down no hill because we might go too fast, hit a tree, and break our leg. We already know that. They don't care nothing about that, right? And the kids, I would just watch them. The ones used to be here, they would be blue, playing out there. They get them cardboard things and slide down that hill way over there. They just be slide almost going in the street. I said, well, that's okay. And they would be cold, but they wouldn't be cold. I guess the body warmed up. Come, man, you better come in and warm up. I'm all right, Dad. I got it covered. I said, dog, I guess that's when you get old, you have on all these sweatshirts and, stuff like that. But anyway, are there any questions or comments? I think I'm really happy about this period. I'm happy with not only what we've done, but with our psychological and spiritual growth. You have to be, to do this with a certain amount of expertise, you have to have wiped out all the anger, guilt, meanness, and getting rid of that is just, hey. And when you get rid of it, you can feel it. It's a load. And they've gone through certain tests to prove it all. I know with that, that's gone. Are there any more questions or comments?
You're evaluating your resources.
Yeah, you evaluate everything. Yeah.
Everything. I remember, we were talking 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about reaching out to some people over on the West Coast that you knew.
Right.
Talking about how to approach them and things like that. What is like your kind of code of conduct or the rules you use with evaluating the people that you know that to approach for resources that they have to do the things that you need to do, for the community and things like that,
Okay, code of conduct, you mean like, okay.
Which people, how do you evaluate whether you should approach someone for, zakat basically?
Yeah, for aid and assistance? Yeah. Okay, when we go out on the West Coast, what we could do here, when we go out on the West Coast, what we're going to do, there's 2 main spots. We're going to hit everybody. But one is the big Shia spot out there. So we'll go out there the first week. We'll pass out DVDs. Then we'll come back the next Thursday, do a meal for zakat, sadaqah, whatever they want to do. They know us. They've been with us all this time. Something happened to them. Whatever it is, we're not going to go into that. We're going to just go into what will hopefully open them up. Okay, they know what's going on. They understand all of it. And remember, these are Iranians that have been here. They've been here, And when I used to go around giving speeches, they would give me a credit card, on one of them's name. But they know all I would do was get the car, you know what I mean? And I didn't even charge gas. I didn't charge for going around or anything. I just go around and things would develop. Okay. I remember one guy, he owned a big hardware business. He gave us money through somebody else to help us open our masjid, to buy it and to remodel it and everything. And some kind of way, the Iranians there had told him that they were going to refund some of it or something like that. and some kind of way they wouldn't do it. He asked me about it. I told him no. They didn't tell me nothing about this. It's okay. When we had fundraisers some years ago for our Masjid in Sacramento, he gave thousands of dollars, and then later on, now that's what Abdul Malik them and the other crew, but I'm there and they come into our fundraiser. And they gave more than everybody. They gave the most of the money. Okay. You go back 40 years ago, when I would go to visit him at home, between 35 and 40 years ago, he had a nice little daughter that was, I guess she was junior high at that time. So she would just listen and look. And she became a very nice friend. She became an attorney. And when I called her this time, she wouldn't answer. They had special, you could tell, not that she went that away, anything. Okay, so they had the word, that whole crew. Now, for me, that Bay Area crew, that Bay Area crew was basically my crew. They used our masjid for ayah for over a decade. It was the only place they was welcome. Our masjid was the only place Shias was welcome in those days. The only place. Okay. Now they bought a big giant spot out there. And I was welcome. But there's no you're not welcome. But you could tell something is happening with them. So we left them alone. But now we're going to go there. We're going to be there on Thursday night. We're going to pass out a DVD. You'll know because we'll make the one that we want for them. All the others that we've been making, this for that, it's not for that. It's just practice and a lot of it is to vent. You guys, we're not going to have no fundraiser with that kind of talk. It's ridiculous, right? You low down Iranians, you double crossers, right? And then you're going to ask them for money? That's ridiculous, right? So actually, no, I've been on those, but I'm not going to put those things out. That's venting, because I get to say it, and if one or two of them heard it, they got the idea. But I'm not going to put nothing out like that. Okay. That's just like the brother that come here from Saudi Arabia, and he done measured everything. Soon as he walk in the door, I jump on Saudi Arabia. You expect them to come back and the other crew from out there, remember how they was measuring everything and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So we ain't seen them since, right? Hey man, okay. So we know what not to do. We're not going to do that. Okay, that's the first criterion is using the best approach that you can conjure up. Yeah. The same thing we'll do at IAC. We'll go out there, we'll make up a nice thing, and then we'll go out and pass them out. The difference between them and other brothers, they're here at the seat of power. Everybody goes out there, usually works in one of the things. And I don't know who's in, brother from Iran, well, you been to the Daftar lately? I said, no, who's heading it now? He knows, but I said, no, I ain't been by there. I'm not going by there. I'm not, that's that. We'll go out to the IAC and we'll, if people want to, they'll help us out. If they don't, that's fine. But our fundraising is back to the early days. It's good because it humbles you, you know what I mean? So you're not arrogant. You can't stand out there with a box. Yeah, you better give me some help. You owe me, right? You got to have a different attitude, right? They don't know how important those boxes are, just to what it do for you. Yeah, what it do for you. Yeah, you have to, you got to take off all that, you know, that's okay. But anyway, I hope that halfway answered the,
It does actually.
okay. Yeah, so, you know, this how to win friends and influence people. When we raise funds, we don't come in calling names. Why are you low down bums? I mean, if they send somebody by here, we used to run everybody away. Like if Siraj, I mean not Siraj, but some people like that from up there would send somebody by, you could tell when they walk in. So you could also tell when I get on a, yeah, da, they'd get up and walk out. All I want to know is, where did you come from? And I done got good at that. And some people come in and they they've been here before and they're horrible. Well, I just they get up and walk on out. They got to, you know. Yeah, I mean it's just you got to have fun. If you take it, if you get mad about any of this stuff, you won't make it. I believe maybe a person might, but Allah kind of gave me the little happy spirit, the joking spirit. So that's what I use. That's my weapon, and it's a good weapon. It just you can't lose because you can't. The people that turn mean and hateful, and I could be suspicious of somebody without having no animosity. I could like them. In fact, I do. I be suspicious of people, and I like them. I'm just a nice guy, nice crew. Why not? Right? They're only what they are based on the information they have. If we do this long enough, you never know. You never know. It don't make no difference though. We're As-Sabiqun. We're gonna, and if nobody listens to us, they can go out and stand by the ocean and let it boil over on their behind. You know, and that could be almost any time. Not next week, but week after next. If they don't believe what we're saying, let them go stand by the ocean. It'll boil over on their behind. You know, right? In other words, all the stuff we're talking about, right? You know, it's not way off in the distance anymore. It's either you have to do something about this now, and guess what? They ain't doing nothing. Well, they sure don't care. They don't care. It's a part of the population. And I'll close with this. They said 1,000 manatees, you know, them big old things, have died because the seagrass and stuff is disappearing in Florida. And they say all we have to do, they're starving to death. So now they have to take care of them. They bring it, you know, like feeding cattle, throwing the weeds out of the boat and everything. Because it's not anything wrong with them. They're natural. Every people at the end of their cycle of time, they acted just like these people. You talk to them, they cover their head up, stick their finger in their ear, right? It's all there. Every word. And you be saying, dog, man, that's true. And of course it's true. But I'll close with this. Brother Abdul Haq and I used to have the I'll be damn effect. And maybe we talk about George Bush, something like that. We say, I'll be damned. He really did it. He just did it. And we would analyze, you know, and we called it the I'll be damned effect. Everything we would come up with, I'll be damned. They actually said it. They're doing it. Well, I'll be damned. That's what we call it. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. They actually doing it. This. Oh, are there any more questions or comments? Okay, alhamdulillah. Well, we'll be ready. We might, yeah. I'm gonna try to get something ready. We might pass something out this Thursday. Well, no rush. We'll get a flyer and everything ready next Thursday. Yeah, Thursday after next. We don't have to do it. Yeah. But this Juma should be shorter. I put it that way. Only short. But that's what I was going to say. We could go out and raise a few funds. Yeah. And some of the other brothers, if y'all could do that, we can hustle up the boxes of flyers. We could just get warmed up. Could y'all go to Dar al Hijra? Yeah, the other brothers will stay here. And don't worry, we'll save y'all. Plus, they end so early, you be able to get back over here. We'll make sure that we put aside. Remember them big pieces of turkey we had? We had the thing covering up. That's so. The first thing the Negro is going to say, he ain't, not that doing work means something, but they ain't swept nothing, they ain't did nothing. Man, give me that dump stick there, brother. I said, no, that's for the believers there. Not that you're a believer, but you're a visiting believer, commercial believer, right? So we had all the wings. I didn't give but one wing away, them turkey wings, because people like turkey wings and stuff. Anyway, not that I'm, okay, a cooler